Hello and welcome, X Factory friends and family, to another Paul Sinclair voiceover video. We took a small break as I was really busy with the unofficial short course nationals at RC Madness, and then of course the Roar Nationals out at West Coast RC. But we're back at it here. Recently, Chaz traveled up to Green Bay, Wisconsin, to Dirt Heaven Raceway, hobby store and raceway up there. Long time track. I think they've been around for a number of years. But every year, towards the end of summer, they host their corn roast race, which if you're ever in the area or in the northern Midwest, I definitely think you should check it out. I was there a few years ago, and just for the food, they feed everybody roasted corn. I mean, it's in the name, and just delicious. As well as some really fast drivers in the Wisconsin area. Always has a good turnout and just a lot of fun. I wasn't able to make it this year, but Chaz went up there and filmed team driver Ryan Derenne. So for this video cast, or Paul's voiceover video, I should say, I wanted to just comment as we watch Ryan run here and tell you guys what I see. So without ado, the first thing I noticed, and I knew this from being there before, but the track is a kind of a packed black dirt. Reminds me a lot of the 2010 Roar Nationals in Joliet, Illinois. Of course, I mean pretty close location-wise. But this dirt, like, I think the best traction is actually if you run it wet. But it's hard to, especially for a bigger event, it's hard to be really consistent through the classes and give everyone an even qualifying chance when you're watering the track. So, as you can see in the video, I mean, it's pretty apparent they're running it dry. But this surface, when you run it dry, it still doesn't, it'll groove up, but it's more of a polish instead of a high traction groove. So the traction never gets above what I would describe, to be even medium. It always kind of stays in a low to medium bite, where you're really searching for forward traction and trying to lock your car in, and at the same time deal with the cracks and ruts and bumps and rocks that develop. So it's an interesting surface. Ryan has a few good opening laps here, and his car looks pretty good. It might be a little bit soft in the rear. In the corners, nice job dodging that wrecked car. But it's making good traction. It definitely goes straight when he goes, when he's pulling the trigger. And it looks pretty good in the corners, kind of neutral. Enters a nice drift, but a little wreck. Those jumps leading onto the straightaway there look pretty difficult. I don't want to say I hate them, but it can be tricky to get those jumps right when they're in a corner around the apex like that, because you just got to go slow and plod your way and just try not to roll over or wreck. But anyway, again, the car looks very composed. I mean, it's handling the bumps and ruts and stuff well. And in the corners, looks pretty good. If Ryan keeps it off the pipes. The one area where I could see that car getting on the straightaway. Chaz followed the wrong car for a moment, but you can see just how loose the surface can be trying to get traction. If you just pin the throttle, your car will fishtail and kind of want to wander. So you have to be careful with that. But the one area where I could see Ryan really improving is in his jumping and his jumping technique. And I mean, it's one thing that Americans in general, our tracks tend to be this supercross style with a lot of high jumps and long jumps, and so the way you approach the jumps and getting consistent and being able to land them correctly becomes super important. Ryan's handling this triple in the middle of the track pretty well. Of course, say that he cases and wrecks, but overall his car looks like he has a really good attitude and whatnot. But the crossover double-double in the front seems to be giving him a little bit more trouble. And I say that not necessarily because he's wrecking there more, but I think he could go a lot faster with a little better technique. You can see he's casing. There was a pretty good pass through there, but he's casing that last jump quite a bit. And to me, that means that he needs to have carried more speed from that first crossover double so that he can launch harder and further off the second one. There are really two jumping techniques, two major jumping techniques, and it's all in how you approach the jump. In my mind, I kind of categorize them as distance or height. If you want your car to go as far as possible, so like this second crossover where you just need to clear that ending hump, it's really just you need to carry as much speed into the jump as you can, and you just hold the throttle into the approach. and that's going to give you your best distance. If you want height, and if you need to set your car up so it has a really good attitude and a perfect downside, what you want to do is accelerate to the jump, then let off at the very base of the jump, just briefly let off, and then pump the trigger back to full throttle at the very top of the jump. It's a very quick, you build up the speed you need to clear the jump as you approach, and then at the base of the jump you let off really quick and then squeeze the throttle really quick at the very top. And what that does is it allows the suspension to compress into the face, and then as you apply throttle, you get the rear suspension, especially on a two-wheel drive car, you get the rear suspension to help unload further, and it'll give you a much higher, your car will seem to pop more off the jump, and it'll give you a really good nose-down attitude. So even in really windy conditions, you can get your car to fly right and set up for a downside. Here towards the end of the race, Ryan starts, I think he puts in some of his best laps here at the end. Really nice triple there. Handles that little bump hop at the end. A nice job through that chicane. Carrying a lot of speed here. As the race is winding down. Like I said, I think his car looks pretty good. It's making good traction. That was almost a perfect jump if he just steered, I think, the other way and let the car slide a bit on the landing. I think he could have stuck that, and that would have been really fast. Like I said, it looks like it's handling bumps pretty well. It's making traction the way an X-Factory car should. And when he hits the jumps correctly and consistently, it puts together some good lines. So, well done to Ryan. Thanks for letting me comment and share this video with you guys. Ryan qualified 5th in two-wheel drive at the Corn Roast. I'm not sure where he finished, but well done, Ryan. I will see you guys next time.